Hey team, welcome to week 3. Today we're going to be going through essentially how key getting organized and getting a calendar can be to absolutely being as successful as possible with this, with the least amount of pain and anguish. Because I know change is hard, changing habits is hard. We are very habitual creatures, and if you're wanting a different result, well, we need to start to do something differently. If you're continuing to do the same things in your evenings, the same things in your morning, exercise the same way, and go about work and parenting if you have kids the same way, then I promise you can expect a similar outcome, really. And so by creating change, we're going to allow our environment to influence a change in our body based on what we're doing, thinking, feeling, saying, consuming, moving. They're the things that are going to really move the needle the most when it comes to healing your body. And there's 4 main principles to healing that I want to go through with you today. One is called presence, or I call it attunement. Two, movement. 3, recuperation. 4 is nourishment. So let me just touch on these really quick. 1, presence and attunement. Attunement by definition is that you are aligning your thoughts, actions and behaviors into a direction. So let me say, if you're trying to heal yourself but you don't think about it at all during the day, or you're not thinking about your posture, or you're not thinking about your rehab, but you really want to heal, do we understand that your lack of focus, energy and attention is literally going to be the biggest thing? A lot of patients can tell me that, oh, I just forget all the time, or I lie in bed at the end of the day and then I think, oh, I haven't thought about my body or my rehab, or who knows, I get to the end of the day and I'm just sore because I've been slouched over a laptop for 7 or 8 hours, but work's really important, and this is where we are, and this is also where we end up. So it's really important to attune yourself to what you want and attune yourself to your healing journey. And the presence part is being present with your body, being present with its needs, being present enough when you move to know when enough is enough, or to know when to breathe differently, or to be able to feel how to breathe into something a little bit more. And these things done daily can make a huge difference to how you heal across a week and a month and many, many months. Movement is number 2. So ultimately getting your movement right. Too much intensity, too much volume, the wrong types of movements can all compromise what you're healing in your body, depending upon what that is. And we all have different needs and different dysfunctions that I'm trying to consider, and that's why our initial consultation with the specifics of what we've recommended for you are key to be rinsing and repeating, especially in the first 6 to 12 weeks. So movement needs to be done in a coherent way. And by that I mean you should be not having a jacked up heart rate. It shouldn't be really hard. You shouldn't be getting really sweaty. I understand there might be moments of spiciness with a movement and that your body might be feeling something. Nothing should be causing pain or inflammation at this point. There's no such thing as good pain at this point. It really just needs to be self-lubricating, flushing the system, activating the tissues. They're the things that are going to be able to generate the biggest healing response for you right now. Recuperation. Recuperation is an interesting one. Most people would assume sleep straight away. It's actually not about that. Recuperation can just be being in a rested sort of tone in the body. So someone can lie on a hammock on a beach and still have very stressed thoughts and a very tense body. So even though they're lying on a hammock on the beach, they're not going to be in a recuperative tone. And when I say tone, I mean nervous system tone. Is it wired or is it relaxed? Is it in fight or flight, or is it in rest and digest? Because the other part of resting and digesting is also healing and regenerating. And so we need to get our body in a recuperated state. And so there are going to be times in our day where we can't be, whether we've got physical jobs or whatever it is, but it's when we're not in those non-negotiables where we need to be on, that we are orchestrating enough rest time. And if we're constantly energetically depleted through poor sleep or poor food or not being able to get our energy balance right, we're expending too much, and there's not enough energy in the body to physically heal with and to physically recuperate from, because our body is constantly recovering from the work that we're doing and the lack of rest that we're having. Okay? And nourishment. I don't want to go too much into nutrition and nourishment at the moment. I feel intuitively a lot of people know if they're eating junk and drinking junk, and it's really just being present enough to choose differently. A lot of the time we get into habits with what we eat. It's changing, making some adjustments, making some replacements. I don't want to get into it too much at the moment, but just knowing that what we're consuming with our food and our drink and even our social media and our TV and what we're reading and what we're listening to and who we're listening to, these are all the things that we're consuming. And if they are stressful and if they are make us feel heavy, then these are the sorts of things that we need to create a boundary around and to choose differently. And really what this is about is choosing differently. It's understanding that we are creatures of habit, and that by looking at these things objectively and reflectively and choosing to do them differently is going to be the most powerful instigator for change that we're going to have. I hope this makes sense. These are the 4 principles of healing that we're going to be focusing on. Ideally, presence and attunement is just staying focused on what we want. Movement is what we're recommending for you to do each day, ideally in the morning, but if it's not in the morning, any time is fine during the day. And if you can get 2 rounds of movement in, it isn't essential, but man, it's going to make a really big difference. Recuperation, getting good sleep, I'd say minimum 7 hours. If you can, do more. If you're not really getting that, I'd recommend looking up NSDR, so it's non-sleep deep rest, and just spending 10, 15, 20 minutes, maybe split up into 2, of just lying down and doing a little meditation, because it's incredible how much our batteries can charge just from that time and how we can help regulate ourselves and recuperate ourselves and get attuned just by taking that space for ourselves. I already spoke about nourishment. If you have any questions at all, please email us back. We'd love to help you with anything you need. Otherwise, check us in the next video and we'll go through how I would go about setting up a calendar.